The journey from a lead generation, making the first contact, and then nurturing that lead to reach a place where you're now getting into the lead conversion cycle, that whole journey can vary depending on the product and service. Now, there's a lot of research that's been done, and what people find is that typically it takes between 7 to 9 points of contact before you get the conversion. Now, most sales teams, business owners included, give up after 2 or 3 contacts, and then they get into passive mode, thinking that okay, now we've answered all their questions, we've given them the proposal, we've answered all their questions, they've said leave it with us. Then we might check in once in a while, but that check in is, hey, have you made progress? That kind of stuff. So now the question really here is these 7 or 9 points of contact, because then immediately there is a sense like, if I contact him so many times, won't he get irritated and upset and switched off and put off and find me to be a hustler? So the question really here is, how can you keep in touch with that prospect over a period of time, 7 to 9 times, 12 times, whatever it is, where you're being relevant, where you're not irritating, where you're not upsetting them. That is basically the puzzle that we need to solve. And the only way to do that is to find relevant information pieces that you can keep feeding them. Now, in that whole process, you also have an opportunity to transform their default buying criteria by offering them all kinds of, information, research, white papers. Maybe you have created them, you put them together, which helps them to think through their problem, their possible solutions, the product or service that they want to buy, and what are the mistakes that people make while selecting the product or service, the mistake that they make while selecting the vendor, and more as an open research document. That's like just one of those things, and because so many other things that you can put there, which would then they would consume that content within the context of the conversation that they begun with you. So there is a legitimate way in which you can keep, but there is one little secret there, and that secret a lot of people miss out. And that secret is, ask them permission. Is it okay for you if I send you a white paper on this subject? Is it okay for you if I send you a research document? So every time you send something, you future proof the whole conversation by asking them permission. Because now that you ask them permission, now it's legitimate for you to send it. And when it becomes legitimate, the points of contact are happening, and they're happening in a way in which they don't get irritated, they don't get upset, but a relationship starts to form in the background, so that by the time they're ready to make the buy decision, there's no guess. They're going to go with the person who's been with them through that journey and who's elevated themselves in the knowing, liking, trusting triad. When that equation goes up and you manage to keep the conversation, you manage to build that relationship, there is a time where they're going to say, okay, can we sit down? Can we negotiate? Can we finalize? And then they sign off.